Observation, Analysis, Compassion, authored by William J. Maloney. Drawing on examples from literature, art, and history, this article argues that optimal healthcare rests on a triad of observation, analysis, and compassion. Referencing physician writers and keen observers such as Anton Chekhov, Arthur Conan Doyle, and Leonardo da Vinci, the discussion illustrates how careful attention to the human condition enhances diagnostic insight and ethical care. In the context of unprecedented global migration and strained healthcare systems, clinicians are challenged to move beyond technical competence toward a deeper understanding of patients' fears, cultural barriers, and dignity. At the intersection of careful observation, thoughtful analysis, and genuine compassion, the highest standard of patient-centered care is achieved. Introduction. The Russian writer-physician Anton Chekhov once said, "Medicine is my lawful wife, and literature my mistress." Chekhov is one of many who have felt a deep calling to both the healing arts and the written word. Doctor-writers have been present since biblical times, with many such gifted individuals existing today. Other creative individuals, such as artists, share a fascination with the intimate details of the human condition. A trait common to all is the ability and desire to observe the human condition in minute detail. Their keen powers of observation have proven invaluable in both treating patients and documenting aspects of human conditions that had remained unnoticed to others. The evolving healthcare system. The American healthcare system presently faces challenges never before encountered. Millions of migrants seek asylum in America each year. These people need help in many forms. One major need is quality healthcare. The powers of observation that live within each healthcare provider need to be honed and developed now more than ever, as these migrants come from various backgrounds and cultures with medical issues that have rarely been seen in many parts of the United States. Developing our innate observational abilities will allow us to better serve and heal these people who seek and need our help. For example, in 2022, there were 107.2 million individuals who were forcibly displaced worldwide due to persecution, war, hunger, and human rights violations. Many of these migrants sought refuge in the United States. In 2022, New York City processed over 100,000 migrants, overwhelming city resources and leading the New York City Mayor's office to describe the situation as a significant budget problem. The asylum seekers needed housing and clothing, food and medical care, and, in the case of children, education. The provision of quality health care for all is, unfortunately, a very controversial subject in America today. However, it should not be. The legal profession proudly states that justice is blind. Health professionals must be held to an even higher standard, one that includes compassion. Healthcare providers find themselves in many non-traditional settings, such as correctional institutions, addiction recovery centers, and migrant intake facilities. These providers must not only provide the best possible healthcare, but also provide it in a manner that respects the dignity and inherent value of each human being. All cities, states, and national agencies face challenges in providing for such individuals, the healthcare system included. But these challenges can be overcome, and superior healthcare can be provided to all by employing the three crucial components of optimum healthcare: observation, analysis, and compassion. Historical context. Luke was one of the four gospel writers of the New Testament of the Bible. He was also a physician. Luke was the only gospel writer to describe hematidrosis, an extremely rare condition in which humans sweat blood. 4 Luke described the event as follows: "His sweat was like drops of blood falling to the ground." Luke 22:44, Good News Translation. Leonardo da Vinci also described this rare condition in A Soldier Before Battle. Both Luke and da Vinci, being such astute observers of the human condition, recognized the significance of these individuals' extreme anguish, even as it went unnoticed by others. In 1912, Arthur Conan Doyle stated, "How great a privilege and how valuable a possession it is to be a medical man." Conan Doyle is best known as the author of the Sherlock Holmes stories. Detective Holmes was known for solving difficult cases through his immense powers of observation and deduction. Conan Doyle was a practicing ophthalmologist and began writing because his medical practice was initially very slow. Conan Doyle graduated from the University of Edinburgh Medical School. It was at Edinburgh that he was introduced to the principles of observation and deduction by a member of the faculty, Dr. Joseph Bell. Conan Doyle imbued his fictional character with these powers, which allowed Sherlock Holmes to extract minuscule, seemingly insignificant details that would become the linchpin of a previously unsolvable mystery. An example of compassion is found in the story of the medical care provided to General Hideki Tojo after World War II. Tojo was Japan's Minister of War and had become the personification of the Japanese war effort. After Tojo attempted suicide and failed during his arrest in September 1945, American military physicians treated and stabilized him, even providing a blood transfusion rather than allowing him to die. They knew they were neither his judge nor his jury. Hideki Tojo was executed by hanging on December 23, 1948, after accepting full responsibility for his actions in World War II. 8. Upon the death of the novelist Charles Dickens, the British Medical Journal published a notice which read, "What a gain it would have been to physic if one so keen to observe and so facile to describe had devoted his powers to the medical art." Dickens was fascinated by the intimate details of the lives of the individuals he encountered in his daily life. He possessed that same well-developed ability to observe humanity and to analyze these observations to form useful conclusions. His observations led to the first written description of a sleep disorder. His character, Sleepy Joe, in the posthumous papers of the Pickwick Club, suffered from obesity and snoring and would fall asleep during the day. The medical community later referred to this condition as Pickwickian syndrome. Relevance to modern healthcare. Healthcare providers encounter patients with pain, fear, and anxiety on a daily basis. Simply asking a person to rate their pain on a scale of 1 to 10 is woefully inadequate. Again, the powers of observation must be employed. A patient may encounter multiple barriers in an effort to express their level of pain and fear. The Norwegian artist Edvard Munch created the Scream, 1893, which has become the iconic representation of human anxiety and fear. Migrants and others presenting for care are faced with language barriers, cultural norms, and fear of various other consequences for their families or themselves. We must acknowledge the reality of our patients' concerns. Like the subject of the Scream, they feel alone with a chaotic and unforgiving world swirling around them. We must break through the barriers to address the patient's issues and bring some order to their tumultuous world. There are 3 essential elements to optimum healthcare. Firstly, the clinician must observe. The true cause of the patient's presentation for care must be discovered. Once all the information is gathered, an analysis must take place, putting together all the information gathered thus far. Finally, this must all be performed with compassion, with the understanding that the individual presenting for care is a human being with all the hopes, fears, and anxieties inherent in every human being. It is at the intersection of these 3 essential elements that the highest level of healthcare is achieved. Conclusion. Observation, analysis, and compassion are traits that lie within all healthcare providers and must be brought to the surface in every patient encounter. This triad of optimal patient care allows the provider to cut through external veils and barriers to determine the true origin of the patient's dilemma and then provide the most comprehensive and compassionate care. The healthcare provider must make good use of the rare glimpse of the human condition that we have been afforded. The writer W. Somerset Maugham said, "I do not know a better training for a writer than to spend some years in the medical profession. The doctor, especially the hospital doctor, sees it, humanity bare."